Welcome to Awakening Soul Truth. I'm Allison Ledbetter. This is Robbie Short. We are meditation teachers, Reiki masters. This lovely woman is a yogi and I am a medium. And we are all about assisting you on your journey of awakening. What if our planet, as it is hurtling through space, because it is, it is literally hurtling through space, moved in to a beautiful, serene vibration that's much higher than the resonance of the current planet situation? What happens if we entered into this space? You would have to rely on your throat chakra, and today's topic is throat chakra, to resonate with the new vibration, to find your truth, to hear your truth, to know that you were aligned.
So the throat chakra is about resonance. It is about frequency. The Hindu deity for this is Sadashiva. Shiva beats the drum, and that represents the rhythm of time. It represents the patterns and the rhythms of the universe, the sun rising and falling, the waves or tides moving in and out. Even if you listen to music, even the fluctuations within the music, even in the fluctuations in our own voice.
Our vocal cords.
Yeah, so he's usually depicted with 5 heads, representing this kind of 5th chakra.
Oh, wow.
But also representing, the 5 senses. And the sense that goes along with this is hearing, and the element is ether and sound carries that vibration.
Yes, it does. And what happens if a new sound entered our planet? A new wave of plasma. A beautiful space of a higher vibration. We love this throat chakra area also because it is about divine truth. Your divine truth, my divine truth. One of the keys to resonating with your divine truth is feeling peace and serenity after you align with truth, or do you feel fear and toxicity and want to get small and kind of have a panic? That's not divine truth. That would be the opposite.
Yeah, the yogis talk about amrita, which is this divine nectar flowing down from the upper chakras through this passageway of the throat. And they say it can be like a filter, and it can be pure form or poison. So that's what that reminds me of. It's like the fear is the poison.
Yes.
And the pure form is authenticity. It's respect. It's, being honest, holding integrity.
Integrity. Transparency is the word you were using with me earlier. We were talking about transparency.
Yeah. I had to learn transparency at a young age. When I was a teenager, I was doing, I was a little bit of a druggie, and only psychedelics though. And I kept getting busted, and, I was also playing around with my boyfriend, and I kept getting busted with that. And I finally started telling the truth. And once I started telling them the truth, whether they wanted to hear it or not, I got more respect. And they knew that if they asked me a question, they knew that I was going to give them an honest answer. And I'm going through that with my teenage son right now. Yeah. I'm trying to let him know transparency is key. This is something that I've been trying to do with my present boyfriend, because both of us have been hurt and betrayed and cheated on in past relationships. And so to build trust and to build a solid foundation, it requires complete transparency.
It absolutely does. And transparency is the key to an honest relationship. You feel your inner integrity and your inner worth when you're saying the truth, not only internally, but externally. I get a lot of looks when I say my truth. I mean, a lot of people do. You say your truth and people are like, whoa, wow, you really went there. Yeah, you asked, I went there. Here's the truth. This is what's happening for me. And it feels okay. When you hold things back, when you lie, you actually are uncomfortable inside of your own skin. And you don't really know why. And it actually disconnects you from your place of your solar plexus, the one we went over, the third chakra, but also your throat then starts to, I don't know, close.
It does. Anything like gossip, anything like telling lies, anything like verbal aggression is going to close up this field, which also will disconnect you from the heart. The small passageway of the neck and the throat, which is what this area governs, along with the thyroid, parathyroid glands, that's just a small passageway between the head and the heart. So this is important, one, to meditate and to work on to create that harmony and bond between the two.
Yes, to gain truth with yourself. Again, when it's in harmony, you feel safe, you feel comforted, you feel at peace. It is other people's judgments you might not be at peace with, or you might feel, but at the end of the day, the flow and softness and serenity and peace that comes with telling the truth and being aligned with your own truth, these are the tools we hope that you use.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just got an epiphany.
Yeah.
Like literally right now when you said that.
Yes.
And I happened to be looking at the color that we're wearing. The color is like either a sky blue or a Caribbean blue, aquamarine color. And it made me think of the Caribbean blue sea.
Oh, beautiful.
And how beautiful not only the color is, but how transparent and clear the water is. When you're in those waters, you can see everything under the water. You can see your toes. You can see the fish swimming around you.
Yeah.
That's the color.
It's
okay.
Just hit her.
Just hit me.
So the truth, being able to see clearly. The element is ether, right? Of the throat chakra.
Yes.
So another way.
And sound.
Sound. Well.
Sound can be because of the vibration.
And also people that have really balanced chakras, throat chakras, will be clairaudient. So you will be able to hear on the other side, to hear divine wisdom. And a lot of times I personally use divine wisdom as my tool, or clairaudience as my tool, to make sure I am aligned with truth. What's the deeper truth in this situation or in the now moment? Hearing the vibration of the now moment, hearing like a serenity. I don't know how to describe it, but you can hear peace.
There's a feeling of contentment with it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. A lot of people have blocks here that they don't understand. They can't wear turtlenecks. They can't have tight necklaces, chokers on their neck. Sometimes they stop breathing. When they have anxiety, their throat feels like it's shutting down and closing up. I am going to suggest that some of this is past life memory. A lot of times in our past, and even though it's not being done currently that I'm aware of, is people being hung in a past life as a way to end life. And that body memory will stop you. It cuts off, right? The mind, the heart and the mind, it stops off that place of connection. And if you've experienced that tightness, have a meditation around your throat. I personally was sitting one day in meditation, and I always had severe neck pain until about 2 years ago. Severe, like constant neck pain. And my vertebrae was out, and no chiropractor could put it back. I mean, I would go week after week, and it was just like, I'm done. This is not the issue. And spontaneously in my meditation, I felt my head being chopped off. And because I was speaking my truth in that lifetime. And as soon as I felt it and allowed that memory to come through my body, I haven't had pain since. And that's true.
Showing the power of healing the chakras at an energetic and emotional level.
Yes. Through meditation, through breathing, through awareness, through accepting truth.
Because a chiropractor, no matter how much they're going to physically manipulate your neck, that wasn't the root cause. And that's what yoga is about, going to the root cause.
Yeah.
I have a lot of yoga students that don't like bridge pose or shoulder stand pose because you have the weight of your body lifted higher than your head and you're getting a lot of traction in your neck. And that's what I have thought of. I thought of maybe in a past life they've had their head chopped off, because that was a
Yeah.
common practice
Or hung.
years ago. Or hung. I hadn't thought of that until you mentioned it.
And being hung really cutting you off from a truth. Like if you think
Wow.
about, I love that you said that. I don't mean to change subject so quickly.
No, it's that I was going, wow, because you have
can really
wisdom.
Feel that place of stagnation and fear and anything wrapping around the throat. People being choked to death. That's one. But what I find really telling is a lot of common practice for slaves to harm slaves was to hang them. It's a very hard topic. So deep love and compassion goes to that. But it was denying their power. And so that's where they took it, from denying their truth. Again, this is divine truth. We must listen to it and be aware of it and aligned with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that also happened during some of the witch trials.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Let's move on.
Yes, let's.
There was a story from when I was a flight attendant, and this was when I lost my voice and developed some laryngitis. We were capable of living pretty much anywhere in the world and commuting to work. And usually that commute was through or via plane, right? And so I lived here. I was based in Memphis. So I could either drive or fly. But this one particular day I was getting ready to fly, and the gate agents knew who I was because I lived here in Nashville. I did not physically check into the flight. They checked me in for me. Mm-hmm. And the next thing I know, the flight was canceled. I had called into work, and the next thing I know, I'm getting reprimanded at work. I'm having to go through is it called deposition with the union rep and a lawyer, and basically I was being questioned, and I wasn't alone. There was a lot of other flight attendant and pilots that had gotten the same course of action. I lost my voice. I wasn't sick. And I went to the doctor. They give me a Z-Pack. The Z-Pack didn't help. I go back to the doctor. They're wanting to give me another prescription. Yeah. It wasn't until a few weeks when that cleared that my voice came back. And there is a pranayama technique. And I know breathing meditations are often, kind of for the heart center because of the element of air. But there is this breath called Ujjayi pranayama, where it sounds like ocean waves. Ooh. And you constrict the back of your throat. So you're using your throat muscles to create the sound. Hopefully you could hear it, but it makes the breath audible to hear and listen to, and it becomes a beautiful meditation just on listening, and that can heal any throat stuff. Right. Beautiful. Great for strep throat, great for laryngitis.
So really, let's accentuate this idea that you lose your voice when you're not speaking your truth, when you don't think you're being heard. So either way, if you don't think you're being heard or you're not stating something that's true for you, your throat chakra won't stand for it. It will represent the withholding and will withhold your voice. So really watch that as a tip that, I'm not in balance. What do I need to say? What do I need to hear? Mm-hmm. So either of them.
So that particular breath work is something that I've used whenever I'm having a confrontation with someone. That doesn't come up too often, but I'll start going into that breath to calm me down so that I'm not yelling back or projecting back whatever they're kind of giving to me.
So this reminds me of a really funny story of being yelled at, somebody's dark energy and anger coming at me. It was a landlord of mine, and we were talking on the front porch, and I don't even remember what he was angry at. He was one of the first people to ever physically yell at me besides like my mom and dad. And I was so shocked, and I didn't know that people actually yelled like that. I literally spontaneously projectile vomited all over him. He was yelling and I was like, wah! And I just stood there, and he stood there and he's like, did you just throw up? I'm like, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So really?
And I walked away. I was like, I can't even deal with that. I'm not going to say I'm going to clean it up. I'm not going to apologize. Sorry about your luck. He just stood there for the longest time. And I lived on the first floor. He lived on the second floor. And we just kind of went into each other.
So basically you mirrored back to him what he was doing to you.
Yes.
He was projectile vomiting words.
Yes.
And anger onto you. And so you just let him have it in the physical.
Yeah. Apparently I wasn't taking it that day. Must have meditated already. Whoa.
I had to work on this a lot because I grew up in the Church of Christ where women are hushed. Oh. You can teach children up to the age of like 11 or 12, to the age of accountability. And at that point, you don't get a voice unless you're in a ladies' class.
Oh.
Like you cannot speak up. You cannot lead prayer. You cannot share the communion.
Oh my God.
You cannot lead singing. Right. You can sing with the masses, but you couldn't get up and start leading a song or saying a prayer out loud for others to hear. And I think that's actually one reason why if I'm ever in a place and they're like, you want to lead the prayer? I'm always like, nope. My prayers are solo. My prayers are directly to God and I don't really voice it.
Okay, so let's just say right now, and it might be against what you've heard, that you have the right to pray. You have the right to say your truth. No one can stop that. That's between you and the divine. And last time I checked, there is nothing between you and the divine. The divine is your source, is at the center of your being. If you are male, female, old, young, whatever it is, your voice has power. Everybody is entitled to this space of prayer. And prayer changes the world. Prayer, actually using your voice, using the word, speaking it into the divine matrix or whatever matrix there is. Like if you speak your darkness into a matrix, you will receive or create that darkness. Your voice is very, very powerful. The spoken word as it comes out absolutely commands the energy. When you command energy, you're bringing form to it, something that you can't see. So to say, I am grounded in love, I am safe, I am present in the light and love of the divine, that gives power. When you pray for another person and you add in the heart chakra and you speak it out loud, genuinely from your heart, it is amplified beyond what you could ever imagine. It has that much power.
Yeah, it's just like the voice being amplified.
Amplified.
Coming out of your body.
Absolutely.
You're no longer holding it in silence.
And we are very much about, because we have physical bodies, we are spiritual light beings incarnated in physical bodies. And I've always seen that as the opportunity to bring form to the divine. Not just Christ, not just Buddha. We, each one of us, brings form to the divine. Be honest with yourself about that. Stop being small. Take back your power. Be conscious of it. Use your voice. Speak up. Oh, one thing I heard, like when you don't speak up, and we were talking about this at lunch at the Indian restaurant. If you don't speak up, you're basically being compliant to what it is that you're disagreeing with. So we were talking about the fact that today's music is exceptionally raunchy and really crosses all boundaries and can be pretty pornographic and descriptive of intercourse, sex, and it's a lot because to me it doesn't feel like it has a love base. Sometimes it does, but it's so graphic these days, like Ride on My Thing and all that. So in my car, the little panel of music shows the picture that's supposed to go with the song. And it has offended me so many times. There'll be like naked women. There'll be people mounting each other. And I freak out. I do.
People mounting each other mounted on your car.
Yeah, I'm just like, I look over, I'm like, I'm in my car. Why am I having a pornography moment? Like, what the is happening?
I will say, you know, I grew up in the 80s, 90s, and, you know, that was becoming a little bit, it's actually always been there.
Yes.
So if you listen to, my boyfriend and I talk about this sometimes because he listens to a lot of old blues music. And when you listen to that old soul and kind of blues music, they had a great way of expressing sexual energy, but in such a great way where it wasn't so in your face.
And beautiful.
They did it with such artistry.
Yes.
And it was beautifully done. And then, of course, 80s and 90s, it starts getting a little bit more risque. And then, of course, now it's like cross the line. But
it's
when my
so
son
raunchy.
became a musician and so into music and exploring all the different genres, I told him, I'm like, there's one thing I'll never censor, and that's music. But that was before the last number of years. And I'm just like, whoa, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Luckily, he doesn't, you know, listen to that very often, you know.
Yeah.
Only on occasion, or if we're out in public, he knows what it is. But
it's really rough.
So what I want to mention about the chakra moving up, because we talked about the lower three being more about kind of the physical existence, physical earthly matters. And we moved up to the heart and we had the two triangles.
Yeah.
And it was the place of the integration of the masculine and the feminine.
And the higher and lower.
Higher, lower, where body meets soul or spirit meets matter. And so when we're moving up to the throat center, this is like even more of a higher spiritual, you know, center.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about, you know, even in worship services, you know, think about there's praying, there's singing, and then there's listening, because ears and hearing go with this throat chakra. So if you look at just a typical worship service, it's all about the throat chakra.
Yeah.
And even if you've attended any kirtans, which is like an expression of bhakti yoga. Bhakti, we mentioned bhakti yoga is stemming from the heart, but it's expressed through voice, through music, through chanting, and the recitation of the divine holy names.
Yes.
And that is something I resonated with the moment that I stepped into a kirtan, just being able to sing the holy names. Just, it's so uplifting. It's such a high vibration.
And chanting.
The chanting and the repetition of the mantras is...
Which reminds us that's going to be one of our techniques that we're going to use during our 7 Chakras, 7 Meditations retreat on March 12th. And we just want to remind everyone that this is really about the experience of doing the high vibration and not talking about it. We've talked enough here.
Yeah, we're really discussing it and talking over some of the details and then sharing some stories on this platform. But really what we want to give you is a day of the experiential practices so that you're putting it into motion. So you could be a beginner with this information, or you could be very knowledgeable about this information. Like we said, we're not going to be going over it like the way we are now. It's going to be putting it into play.
And the goal is that you really do feel that joy and that highness and the giddiness of being that connected to yourself, being connected to the divine within.
There is a mantra that is often used in Kundalini Yoga, and actually they often either greet each other this way, sometimes they sign their name this way, is Sat Nam. Sat Nam. And Sat Nam means I am truth. Truth is my identity. And even just trying to say it in your mouth, you can notice where the tongue falls in the mouth, and it's hitting certain marma points. Energetic points. Sat Nam. Sat Nam.
Sat Nam.
Oh, the planet. The planet that rules it is Mercury, because Mercury rules communication, contracts, you know, your word. Because that's what a contract is. You're giving your word. You're giving your commitment. You may have heard of Mercury in retrograde, and that's usually a time period of about 3 weeks, several times through the year, where it interrupts communication. There are usually misunderstandings, or you can't quite say things clearly. But luckily right now, all planets are direct.
Wow.
Mercury is direct. So communication is key right now to being heard and to being understood.
Which also brings us to the bigger platform of humanity and having truth come out.
Whew. Yeah,
Ooh.
that's happening.
Yeah.
That keeps happening. I have been telling my classes for 2 years, look out, because Pluto's making its natal return. It's about unearthing things, and then more and more truths are going to be coming out. And look what is happening. It is non-stop.
Yeah, we are hearing a lot. And I think, frankly, we don't know what's true and what's not true sometimes because we've been so, what is the word? Indoctrinated into a system, or we've all accepted just a system that feels pretty much like it's not working anymore. And it doesn't uphold people living fully and freely and in a space of love. That's all we're saying there.
Yeah, and remember, this is about discrimination.
No, when it's blocked, we discriminate. We can't see the truth. We can't see a person clearly for all their worth.
Yes, and being able to discern what is truth and what is not.
Yeah.
And something that we all need to be aware of is with this new AI technology that's coming out.
Oh, wow, yeah.
They have some AI technology that pretty much can put a face or a voice, and this is what I'm really wanting to get to, a voice with people's true voice, like saying something that they never said. So this is going to become an issue this year.
Oh.
Because we may be hearing things and, oh my goodness, that sounds like so-and-so, but is it?
Wow.
And this is where it's going to get tricky this year. And this is why 2023 is about soul searching and healing and really discerning what is true and what are we going to align with.
Right. And a lot of things that have been covered up are coming into light. We're seeing them true. But being able to discern this, one of our techniques is what we talked about in the beginning, feeling at ease and comfortable. Check in with your body. Is that bringing up fear for me? Or am I like, what did you just say? Like, why did you just say that? That doesn't resonate with my divine truth. Compare everything to love. You want to get into the space of feeling love. And then when you do that, remember, drop into your heart, connect with your heart. This is where the discernment comes. Also through the throat chakra. I heard that clearly. Do I resonate with it? Does it bring me peace? Or am I like getting smaller and like, ugh. Feeling small? Not normal. That's not normal. I've noticed
if you align with truth is transparent. Truth brings freedom.
Right.
It's expansive.
Yes. And it's a lot. We're going to hear a lot of truths this year that feel overwhelming because we're not used to them taking responsibility. With truth comes action and responsibility. Again, the acting part, saying something, voicing your truth. You don't have to fight people. You just have to say your truth. Right? And you'd be surprised how often our truth comes back to kindness and respect and compassion and support and community. That's the divine truth.
Yeah, we saw the last few years how people were getting really ugly on social media platforms. And even though they were typing the words, it's still communication. And we have to remember to be wise with our words because the tongue can lash out and be as sharp as a knife.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
And, I think we're all guilty of that at times.
And that's pain coming out. That's your own internal pain coming out and confusion when it lashes out, wants to stop the truth. Notice this is not what you want to create in the world. And so when you do that, when you lash out like that, when you want to cut somebody, off from their truth with your words, it's really clear that you should take ownership.
And a wonderful thing to do if you get triggered and you're wanting to start typing right away for your rebuttal or response or whatever, is you can take a couple deep breaths and just sit with it before you do anything.
Yeah.
And go, is it really pertinent to this moment that I express myself? Is it really going to affect this person? Probably not. I mean, we've learned, especially politically, like, people are going to lean towards one side or the other. Nothing you say is going to convince them otherwise.
Right.
So there's no point in the battle of words.
And that's why you can just hold your truth.
Hold your truth.
You can say it
savor
to
for
yourself. You can say it out loud, but not maybe at that person. You don't have to force it down their throat at all. Hold space for truth, for sure. But don't take somebody out with it. On this big political stage right now, where we're hearing a lot of the truth come out that there may have been censorship on the social media platforms, we want free speech, but there's a responsibility that comes with this. It comes with everything. You have to be conscious of creating. You are in creation. Your throat commands truth and creation. And if you are in integrity, and if you're aligned with your spiritual wisdom, then you're creating something that is supportive for everyone. So yes, we want to have free speech. We want the ability to express ourselves. But when hate and shame and ridiculing and all this ugly stuff is coming out, that's not, to me, wise. Now, I don't know why, I guess for a lot of political reasons, they were controlling the platform, the social media platforms. And I don't know where that's going to land. I know they're doing some cases right now in the courts. So my hope is that we learn from our hearts to really speak truth. And we don't need censorship. We don't need control of any of those platforms. We use wisdom and naturally come to this place. Although my husband would say we probably would not be able to do that. I think that's the whole point of awakening, is that wisdom automatically starts to guide this, instead of saying, we've got to censor this, we have to control this, we have to do this. When you're aligned with divine truth, the wisdom naturally comes out.
And what's wrong with the truth?
Nothing. It's so easy. It's so easy. Shall we meditate?
Yes.
All right.
All right. We're going to start with attempting to practice a little bit of Ujjayi pranayama. That Victoria, Jai means victory, so it's really translated to mean the victorious breath. If you think about holding a hand in front of you like you would a mirror, like you're going to fog it up, but then you close your lips and do it from your throat, using the whispering muscles or as if you're drinking from a straw. So let's just take a few rounds of Ujjayi pranayama, and then we'll switch it up to Sat Nam, and we'll say that a number of rounds, and then I'll let you bring in some affirmations.
Wonderful.
Okay, so let's begin with the breath work. Let's sit up nice and tall. Breathing in and out through the nose, but then begin to constrict the backside of your throat. Three more. Let that breath go. Breathe naturally. And if it dried out your throat, you can lubricate it by taking a nice swallow. And then let's begin reciting Sat Nam, 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 Sat Nam. 3 more. Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam.
And just bring your consciousness now down into the throat chakra. And imagining that big, blue, beautiful, sea-colored, sea glass color. Allowing that beautiful blue color of truth to expand with every breath, allowing it to expand in a concentric circle out from your throat. And this beautiful blue, transparent sea glass color, ocean color, widens and encompasses all of your being. I am aligned with my divine truth. I am aligned with my divine truth. I hear truth. I am listening to truth. And I allow this truth to resonate throughout my whole body. Allowing this resonation to even ground you. You can imagine a beautiful blue color coming out and down your spine, all the way down and out the tailbone, reaching all the way into the earth. This blue, beautiful ocean and sky color coming all the way down as a cord connecting you to a beautiful blue ball, the earth. You are anchored on the earth, at her center, at the core, allowing this beautiful blue plasma of truth to be absorbed back up that cord, all the way up till it meets your sacrum, filling your pelvis and moving up your spine, all the way up. Every cell in my body resonates with divine truth. The fear dissolves. The lies dissolve. peace, serenity, a sense of wholeness fills every part of your being. And as you continue to breathe, say to yourself, I am aligned with divine truth. I speak my truth, and I hear the truth. I am aligned with divine truth.